topic that I was not anticipating to get into at all, but here we are. Oh boy. So I got a phone call earlier this week from my mom, and I had a business mastermind last week, and it was one of the best weekends I've had in a long time. Probably the best weekend I've had throughout this year. I've had not the best year to start from a lot of things, business related, all those other things, just a lot of hardship, a lot of challenge, nothing too bad. Obviously, like I'm still alive and kicking and all those type of things. I'm working on my problems, whatever. But my mom, we talk all the time. We text each other, stupid stuff, meaningful stuff, whatever. And I text my parents all the time. I talk to my parents almost every day. And but my mom usually never calls me twice in a row. And I remember I was kind of just, I was sitting back. I was kind of reflecting after the mastermind, and I was just kind of, at the end of the day, I was watching TV, and I remember she called me, and I thought that was very strange because my mom never calls me 2 days in a row, and so she called me, and I kind of, flip open the phone. I just say, hey mom, what's going on? How are you? And she says, not good. And I say, is everything okay? I'm like, did I do something? Like what's wrong? And she told me, my dad was also on the phone, and she's like, your father's on the phone. And she told me that, my best friend Dillon had passed away, and that he had taken his own life. And I talked to my parents for about 30 minutes, and I got numb. I didn't cry. I didn't get emotional really at all. I kind of just went very logical. I asked, like, what happened? How are his parents? How's his brother? Who knows? What's going on? Are you sure? All of those type of things. And they answered all my questions to the best of their ability. There's still so much they don't know, still so much I don't know. But my best friend Dillon, I would always say he was my buddy in the Marines. I've known Dillon probably for longer than most people in my life. Dillon was one of the people that I cared to see when I came home. I always made an effort to see him. We talked all the time. He was so smart when it came to sports, to football, to Browns football, to Ohio State football, to high school football. He was a high school coach at the time that he passed away. He won a state championship, and he was in the Marines. He served his country for 4 years. He was over, I believe, in either Bahrain or Beirut, when Afghanistan fell and when the United States pulled out of Afghanistan, he came over and he served there, and he helped people with his Marine platoon. And I remember I texted him before he went. I'm like, dude, do what you need to do. Do what you need to take care of the people that are there and take care of your guys. And he said, yeah, dude, I got it. And he did. And he did a great job. And he did a really, really good job. And I remember my mom told me on that phone call, and I thought that this was a very perceptive observation, that Dillon was always there. I think that was the biggest thing that really hit for me, that Dillon wasn't going to be there in that way, meaning that, like, when I would come home for something and Dillon found out I was home, he was over my house in like 10 minutes. Whenever my parents needed something, he was always over there. He was so nice to my sister, and a lot of people have been very, very mean and cruel to my sister, and he wasn't that way at all. He was nice to my brother. He was friends with my brother for a long time. He was in preschool with my siblings. I babysat him, meaning I made a joke about this kind of in my my Instagram post to him, at Real Sam Lax on Instagram. If you want to read it, I encourage it for honoring my friend. But basically got paid to watch Jackass and Blue Mountain State and Adam Sandler movies and SNL reruns over his place. I'm having a real hard time with that Dillon's not going to be there anymore. Dillon was going to be in my wedding. Dillon was going to be Uncle D to my kids. He was going to be my head of security one day when everything blows up here at Value Economics, which it will. he was going to be very involved with my life, and he was very involved with my life. I last talked to him a week after Ohio State won the national championship. He went to the game with, I believe, a friend of his and his dad and a couple other people. And the last thing we talked about was that. And he had some choice words for Ryan Day and Urban Meyer and a lot of other people in Ohio State, lore, whatever. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm going to miss about my friend Dillon, is that he's not going to be there. And I wanted him there, and I needed him there. And I said in my post that I made, when I found out that Dillon died, a part of me died. And I mean that. I really, really mean that. Because I've thought of why I put that down, and I thought that it was a good thing to write, but I didn't really know why. But for me, I always have to put these things in there. I think the reason why a part of me died when my friend Dillon died was that Dillon gave life to me. And Dillon gave life to so many people. And I was talking to my dad yesterday about this. My dad called me in the middle of the day, and he, I said, I asked if my grandparents knew, because my grandparents, my dad's parents, really liked Dillon. They really liked him a lot. And I asked if they knew, because I knew my grandparents are going to be really upset, and my parents are really upset. And I remember, quick aside, I'm going all over the place, so I'm sorry. I talked to my brother yesterday too. I talked to all my family yesterday, except for my sister. I talked to my brother yesterday, and I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to offend my brother at all. But he put it in the way that I wanted to, but I just didn't have the guts to. He said, I feel like my brother died, and that's how I feel. Even though he's not my brother's my brother, but Dillon was about as close as you can get, and he always was that for me. And I was a big influence in his life. His parents told me that a lot, both to him and his brother. But I remember, my dad, I was talking to him they really liked Dillon. My grandpa and grandma, they really did like Dillon. And he kind of quips back, he's like, Sam, I don't know anyone that didn't like Dillon. And I said, that's true. I don't know anyone who didn't like Dillon either. And, man, I'm going to miss him so much, dude. It really hasn't sunk in. Yesterday was really hard for me. That's the reason I'm recording a day late than I used to. I couldn't do anything productive. I couldn't work. I couldn't focus. I could hardly talk to my parents yesterday, my brother yesterday. I wanted to just get away. But I think why I wanted to close with this was that I think we need more people in the world that are like my friend Dillon. Dillon was such a better person than I ever was. He was more honorable. He was more charitable. He was more giving. He was more loving than I was. And it was never about himself for Dillon. It was always about other people. He loved his family. He loved his kids that he coached. He loved his Marine buddies. He loved his country. He loved me. He loved my family. And everyone loved him back for that. And I think why I wanted to end with all of this is that we need to remember that that's what we want. And also that we need to take care of the people that take care of us. We need to take care of the caretakers in the world. We need to take care of the people like Dillon in the world. Because I don't think there's anything anyone could have done. I think that, Dillon was the most driven person I've ever met in my life, bar none. Bar none. Was so driven. Every single goal he accomplished. He wanted to be a state champion in football, done. Wanted to be a Marine, done. Wanted to go to Ohio State national championship, done. Wanted to do all these other type of things. And it's no one's fault. And I've wanted someone to blame, but it's no one's fault. It's not Dillon's fault. It's not my fault. It's not his family's fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just a bad thing that happened. And I think, there's some demons that people that serve our country face. And we as a country are awful at taking care of our vets. We're awful at taking care of people like my friend. That's part of it. I don't want to blame the military for all of it. There were a lot of things there, but we need to take care of our caretakers. And we need to take care of the people that take care of us. And I'm so grateful that I knew a man like Dillon and a friend like Dillon and a brother like Dillon, that he wanted to take care of me. and he wanted to take care of my parents. He wanted to take care of my sister. He wanted to take care of my brother. Um, and I miss him a lot already. And we're gonna go to a service or his funeral relatively soon, I think. All that's still getting worked out, but I really miss him a lot. And we need to take care of the people that take care of us, because they're carrying around some stuff, and we should honor that, and we would be, I think, wise to honor that. So I miss him so much, man. And I want to say to Dillon, if he's watching this, which I think he is, I love you, dude. I really love you, dude. And I'm sorry. And I just can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you soon. And I love you very much. I love you very, very much. And thank you for being a far better friend to me than I could have ever been to you. Thank you for being the best man that I've probably ever known, outside of my dad and outside of my grandpa, outside of the people that are in my family. Thank you for being just the best person. And I just miss you so much, dude. It's been a couple days, but God, do I miss you. So